This is the Cleanweb Conversations podcast, growing the global Cleanweb community. Here is your host, Woon Tan.
Hi, welcome to another episode of the Cleanweb Conversations podcast. If you're new to this channel, we are all about growing the Cleanweb community. And today with me, I've got Vicky-Marie Gibbons, who is a partner here at Bethnal Green Ventures, and we're actually recording this from their office here in the dungeon. And welcome to the show. And it's a pleasure to have you here. So, Vicky, tell us more about BGV. What is BGV?
Cool. So Bethnal Green Ventures, it's an accelerator program for social startups that are using technology to tackle problems in the world. So we fundamentally believe that the online world can radically improve the offline world, whether that's creating new health and social care to designing new forms of education, new forms of job centres, and obviously for you guys it's looking at how we can help with the environmental problems that we're facing, whether that's looking at climate change or helping with disconnected communities. So we're all about using technology for social good, and we support and invest in startups who are doing that, and we take them through a 3-month accelerator program and help them sort of turn their early stage idea into a business.
So for people who are really new to the startup scene, what's an accelerator?
So an accelerator program is a 3-month intensive program where you take your business from from an early stage to a later stage. So you go through 3 months of workshops, office hours with people every week to work out how to develop your business, and it's really just a chance for you to kind of have some structure behind creating your business.
In one of the previous episodes, we've spoken to Open Utility, and Open Utility has actually been part of this program. So what are the sort of examples of companies that's been through your program, and especially the ones that would be sort of environmental sustainability focused, because I know that's the key sort of strand of where the startups that you're trying to attract?
So probably one of our most successful environment startups is a company called Fairphone, which is an ethically sourced smartphone. What they're trying to do is disrupt supply chains and raise awareness of understanding where your things are from. One of the main focuses with the smartphone is building awareness around sort of conflict minerals that are used in electronics, and understanding the sort of wars that they fuel and fund. So all of the minerals that are used in a Fairphone are from a conflict-free mine out in the Democratic Republic of Congo. And they trace the entire supply chain from when they collect the minerals to the fabrication units, to the design of it, until it ends up in your pocket. And it's all about sort of understanding where your stuff is from, and raising that awareness.
So they've gone through this program, and now they are...
Yes, so they came onto this program in 2012, and there was just 2 of them. Now they're a team of around 38, based out in Amsterdam. They've sold over 50,000 phones, and they're doing really, really well, actually. It's really nice when you're on a bus and you see someone else with a Fairphone, and you can see that the sort of word is spreading.
Yeah, the progress that they've made.
So it's really great. Their whole design is around being able to recycle and repair the parts of the phone. At the moment, we're in this sort of problem where everyone wants to have one of everything, and iPhones are being released every month, and the next PlayStation's out, and we all want one of everything. But we're in this sort of resource constraint situation now where we can't keep producing like this. So one of the designs of Fairphone is that it's easily repaired. So it's sort of creating a circular economy on the sort of phones. But yeah, they're doing well. We obviously Open Utility, the marketplace for energy, where you can go and buy your energy from your neighbour if you want to. That's was one of our sort of key startups. The sort of energy market is really highly regulated, so it's difficult to sort of introduce anything like this. So that one is we're really interested in to see where that one's going to go, because it's so disruptive. And then another one we have is called Katoa. They came on our last programme, and they're building flat pack wind turbines that can go out into developing countries, that can be assembled by 2 to 3 people reading instructions, like the way when you go camping and you follow the instructions to put up a 2-man tent.
Right.
It's in that way. One of the problems at the moment with wind turbines is that they're so expensive to send out to different countries and assemble in different countries, because you need specialists to do them. But with Katoa, they're kind of flat packed, like the IKEA for wind turbines. And we have a few other ones under our bags.
So, Vicky, talk us through the sort of next phase of the program, because I know you'll be starting to open up your next intake in March.
So our applications will open in a couple of weeks, and then they close on the 20th of April. So what we're looking for is really passionate people who want to use tech for good. We invest in health and education as well as sustainability, and sustainability is the one that's quite difficult to kind of get. So we're actually really excited to see anyone who has any ideas on using technology to tackle problems within the environment. We have an open office between now and the 20th of April, so if anyone does have an idea and they just want to talk to us about it and talk to us about the application, then they can come in and speak to us just over a coffee. If they email in to us, then we'd love to hear from anyone who has an idea. And then the application process is fairly straightforward. We just ask people to tell us what the problem is that they're solving, the solution, sort of why is that going to solve the problem. We're really interested in the team behind it and who's making this happen. We try and invest in a diverse range of people, from software developers to carers to patients of different services, to PhD students to 65-year-old, 14-year-olds, all the different types of people we're looking for. Anyone who's got a great idea.
Yeah, I've just walked through your working space here, and it's pretty just the mix of people, as you can see.
Yeah, and we really like that. A big part of our program is for everyone to learn from each other, and we want lots of different types of people to be joining us, and we want to go beyond the usual suspects of tech entrepreneurs. So.
And even like the location, your office here is was away from the old streets sort of.
Yeah, so we're based
space.
in Somerset House, and we really like kind of being kind of away from tech city, milk roundabout area, and it's just because the whole tech scene can be quite intimidating, and we want all different types of people to come, and the main thing is that people who have passionate ideas and that really want to improve the problems that we have in society.
Cool. You mentioned there's less people interested in sustainability or environment, or it might be there's less people who are trying to apply to do these sort of startups. Is there a reason for it, or do you see why, or do you see anything from?
I can't think of any reason. I guess with sort of health startups, maybe there's more obvious products and services that could help people, whereas with sort of climate change, it's quite difficult to really work out how technology could sort of help solve the problem, but it is really important. We've had sort of 2 centuries of industrialization, and climate change is a massive problem at the moment, so we do welcome any sort of clean tech startups to come our way.
In terms of the people that are part of the BGV community, what sort of people or mentors would would people be able to expect the startups to?
Yeah, we have about 120 mentors in all different areas, from service design, PR, business development, communication management, user testing, user persuasion. We have investors on our mentor list. We have health experts, environment experts, all different sort of areas that are needed to make a business flourish. And I think the one thing with BGV that we have is it's really difficult to do a social startup because we have so many regulated systems that are really, really hard to disrupt. And it takes, you have to work within the system to be able to change it. So it is really useful for our startups to be able to have advice from the mentors who understand the systems and who understand it from the other side, to help them sort of get their foot in and help disrupt it.
And sort of, even yourself, your background is sort of in the government, and we were sort of talking earlier, and you're saying one of the reasons why you joined was because you wanted to do something different in this space, and that sort of ties into how, I guess, the whole scene works, and that you...
Yeah, so BGV, there's 5 of us on the team, and we're all massively passionate about this space. I come from working at a company called Participle, which is trying to redesign public services that will help millions of people's lives, working on projects tackling social isolation and unemployment. We have Melanie, who has worked for Channel 4 and Octopus Ventures, and she has a great skills in investment. She's a trained accountant and is just a genius when it comes to numbers. We have Jess, who is from a comms background. She also has done research at Nesta and understands the startup scene really well. And Paul and Glenn. Paul has run a startup. He ran a startup called School of Everything, so he really understands sort of what it's like to be in the startup. And then Glenn, he's worked on startups all throughout Africa, and he has managed IT operations all over the world. And he, Glenn and Paul actually were founded Bethnal Green Ventures.
Cool. So for BGV, Bethnal Green Ventures itself, what's the sort of longer term sort of future vision? So imagine if I say today was the year 2020, and sort of looking back in the last 5 years, what would you say would be some of your successes and achievements?
Yeah, so one of the aims for us at BGV is we want to build a massive community of tech for good founders who have sort of the expertise and advice that they can lend to people who want to have a social startup. So we're really focusing on how we can support our alumni and how we can support and grow this community of people who really care about making the world a better place. And another thing that we really want to kind of test the market in is that you can make money out of doing something good. I go to different conferences all the time and talk about what we do at BGV, and lots of people kind of tilt their head and go, "Oh, that's nice." And we want to be more than nice. You can make money out of doing good. All of our companies are companies limited by shares. They're not charities. They are revenue making, and we really want to prove that you can make money out of doing something good in the world.
That's quite interesting, because I think most people are against the idea of, like, they have this sort of notion that making money is bad, and it's that idea of doing good and making money at the same time is I think when I look at the environmental sort of issues, and people look at the challenges that we face, especially of social issues, there's always this sort of conflict, I guess, but I think that's not really true.
It doesn't need to be like that at all, and over the next 5 years, when we build up our community of founders, hopefully we'll be able to show how successful they've been. I mean, so far we've our investments have been able to raise £9.5 million, and we're really pleased to kind of be able to say that number.
And that's for all the startups. That's part of
Yeah,
the
so they've gone on to raise 9.5 million.
How many startups have gone through?
So we've had 42 startups that have gone through our program so far, which is around 120 entrepreneurs. And following that, we now are in our current program. So we have 10 more that we are working with at the moment.
Cool. And so your next program, sort of jumping about my questions, but so for your next program, how many startups are you looking to attract?
Yeah, we invest in 10 teams every 6 months,
Okay.
and they stay with us for the 3 months of intensive program and then 3 months extra office space. So they stay with us for 6 months in total. However, that isn't kind of the end of the program. It's not that you come onto the BGV program and then you leave at the end. We really focus on how we can continue the support. It won't be on a full-time basis, but we're really about how we kind of build relationships with founders and how we can continue to stay in contact with them and continue to support them. And the same goes for the mentors. The mentors do continue to help our startups even after the program.
Cool.
Yeah, this is a water feature of the room.
Part of the dungeon.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Vicky, have you got any last sort of advice for anyone who's watching this video and interested to find out more?
Yeah, if you want to have come on an accelerator program, then don't feel shy. Come and have a coffee, come and chat with us, and we can talk about your idea, your initial idea. We've had startups who come and meet with us for half an hour with one idea, and then they apply with a different one because they've pivoted so much after sort of the first conversation. And we do invest in really early stage ideas. Like some of the people who come on to our Accelerator program, they don't have a registered company, they don't have a business account. We really do take on very early stage ideas, and we're really interested in being able to support people with those ideas. So it would just be, don't be shy. come and talk to us. We're really interested in any sort of ideas that can help tackle problems within the environment.
Cool. So I think that's kind of a good place to end this really short podcast. I'll definitely add on the links to your website, bethnalgreenventures.com.
Yep.
And of course, if you're interested, do apply, do speak to them. Thank you very much, Vicky.
That's okay. Just lastly, if you do have any questions, then they can email through to hello@bethnalgreenventures.com, which will come through to me, and we can arrange a time to talk.
Cool. Thank you very much.
Great.
Bye.
The Cleanweb Conversations Podcast.
The reason why we're doing this is that you have energy benchmark in the UK, but they are old, 20 years old, the CIPC benchmark. And buildings have evolved since then. The technology has evolved. So today, nobody really knows whether you're good or bad compared to your peers. So you can get an EPC and it tells you whether you're A, B, C, D or whatever, but do you know how many, on average, what rating the average UK property gets?